Hey Sam, is this me?
Yes, it is you.
Hey, sorry about the classic "Is it me?" This is D calling from NYC.
D from NYC. What's on your mind?
I am unfortunately one of those Tesla shareholders that have been a long time listener of the program.
And?
I'm just calling a bit about the interview, just to maybe chat a bit more about Tesla.
Sure.
Obviously, I'm coming from a biased perspective, but just to share some thoughts.
Please do.
So number one, I guess we'll start with the idea that Elon Musk, obviously he's problematic, right? You wouldn't go to your doctor to get advice on a haircut or, some unrelated expert, right? So obviously Elon is hugely problematic with regard to his stance on COVID, right? His area of expertise, I would say, is engineering, even though that was highly disputed in the interview.
Right.
But
why do you? Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
And that guy we interviewed, I think it was pretty clear, was not like a. I mean, he's a business reporter. He is not a.
And he had some admiration for Elon.
Yeah, I mean, he is not. He's not a god of jaundiced perspective. I mean, if that guy doesn't think,
or maybe I shouldn't say admiration, but he appreciated. I don't know.
Well, the point being, he doesn't strike me as like a Elon Musk critic.
Yes.
And if that guy in reporting on Tesla doesn't credit Elon Musk with any particular engineering knowledge, how do you still?
I'm even willing to concede that maybe he doesn't have that bolstered engineering expertise that sometimes, super Tesla bulls will have. So I'm willing to even concede that point, Sam. But when Elon has been interviewed by automotive engineers, right, they have conceded that he does have expertise. But I'm willing to even put that all aside, right? Like,
okay.
Even if Elon's core competency is his ability to raise money, right, I think that is okay enough, right? Because big oil, right, and big auto, GM, Ford, different companies, right, did not want to move to electric vehicles, right? If you look at their plans to go fully electric, right, I think Ford wants to do like 2035 or 2030. How's that okay, right? So I'm willing to accept that Elon's expertise is just money because he has pushed other car companies, as you said earlier, to go electric, right, and to push up their timelines because they frankly didn't want to, right, because they're saddled by assets that are focused on generating and creating internal combustion engines, right, which are completely different than battery and electric cars. So I'm willing to concede that, Elon just can bring in the big money and get us to electric vehicles. That's fair. I think that's okay. I think where I thought Tim kind of missed a big point of the Tesla story is Tesla has been heavily shorted on Wall Street, and Wall Street has a hugely negative opinion about Tesla since its inception, right? There have been huge bets placed against the company because folks didn't want us to transition to EV. Folks were much happier with the standard procedure of ICE vehicles. So just to give you a sense of scale, right, last year alone, Wall Street lost $38 billion betting against this company, right? Because big oil has vested interest, right, in making sure cars run on oil. And big auto simply does not want to shift their manufacturing processes and have to invest in batteries and other processes. So I thought that was just something. Maybe he covered it before I got to jump on and listen to the interview. But I think that's a key part of the Tesla story that it isn't always shared, is the huge bets placed against this company. So it's not like Wall Street has had or wants to support Tesla, right? It's only been until recently where Tesla has generated, increasing revenue and profits that Wall Street has kind of shifted its view, although it's still highly skeptical, as he mentioned, right? He believes that the company is overvalued. And you said, maybe it's a good idea to short Tesla. Don't do that.
We just had somebody IM and say that, there's someone who's written a book about the inability I don't know how long term you can get those short contracts. I mean, maybe it takes 5 or 10 years, but I do think it's an indictment on some level of the wealth inequality that people can make these kind of bets, and we can have a market value, capitalization value that is so high for a company that has, and listen, like I say, I think I was pretty clear. I give credit to Tesla for speeding up the process of getting Americans and the body politic to accept the concept of electric vehicles as being sufficient. And now I think they've done that, and
bye.
Then you have one thing to consider in the valuation of Tesla, right? And this is controversial, right? Like, I'm obviously a shareholder, so I'm biased, and I'm going to own that bias. But here's one thing to consider: why the valuation, again, I'm biased, is justified versus other automakers, right? Tesla's margins on their car are far greater than other auto companies simply on selling the car, right? But then you have to consider the fact that Tesla can sell services inside of that car, right? Whether that's the autopilot or the full self-driving, which is an ongoing process, right? There's higher software margin that can be occurred that just simply cannot happen in an existing ICE car, right? So that's why the valuation is a bit higher, Sam, right? Like,
I get what you're saying, but what is but at the end of the day, look, at the end of the day, if you can't figure out how to allow the driver to ignore the road, to actively ignore the road, it doesn't matter what kind of software you put in there because they can't use it.
Sam, so two things, right? So one argument is that they already have higher margins selling the physical vehicle, right? So just on a comparison without the software, right? But the software, right, if you look at autopilot, which isn't city streets, that's just a highway, that's that's untouchable, right? Like they have a better autopilot software where it can do lane changes and keep in lane, and you can virtually have a stress-free ride.
Nearly.
Yeah, nearly.
It's every now and then there's a.
But look at this. But consider, right, like full self-driving, completely agree. Like that's been hyped up. Shareholders will agree. If I can speak for some of them, right? But look at full self-driving beta 9.2, which came up last week. It's going to be updated, right? Not done. You're 100% right, Sam. But the idea that the competition is coming,
dude, they should hire you. They should hire you. Look, all I'm telling you is look, this stuff. There's, the race is, these car companies, and forget about the profitability of the company for a moment, okay? The race is because let me finish. Let me finish. Yeah. The race is what will come to market first. Widespread electric vehicles from other companies, or actual self-driving cars from Tesla. And what do you think the timeline is going to be between those two things? Because I think anybody in their right mind is going to say you're going to get cars that are going to compete, maybe not as profitably for the car companies.
One key variable, and that's price, Sam, right? The key criticism about Tesla, as Emma said, as they're making these fancy ass cars, right?
Dude, you're not. You're avoiding my question because this is central. Because
okay, I'll answer it. Sorry about that.
Okay.
So I think other competition will definitely come before full self-driving, for sure, right?
By how many years do you think?
I think we're talking at least 3 or 4 years. But
3 or 4? Come on, dude. Seriously?
Damn. So wait, let me just.
So we got the federal government who's going to put all these charging stations around the country, and it's just going to be exclusively for Tesla cars?
No. I'm saying other companies are coming. They're rolling out now.
I'm saying 3 or 4 years.
I'm in agreement with you.
We're talking 10 or 15 or 20 years.
Yeah.
I
disagree, but I'm willing to concede that. So another point that I think is missing, Sam, is the point that these cars are hugely expensive. So maybe other companies will release electric vehicles, right? But we know the price point of these cars are hugely important. And Tesla has unveiled, right, that they're going to be able to cut the cost of battery costs, which will bring down the cost of vehicles to than our
Do you think these other car companies are not going to be able to cut the cost of batteries after a year or two?
But they have invested in the technology, Sam, because they have been committed to keeping the status quo. That's
but dude, right? You just conceded to me. I mean, listen. There's 15,000. There's going to be 15. We'll find out in a couple of weeks. But there's going to be. The government is putting in all of these charging stations
because we need.
No, I understand, but all right. Well, I mean, good luck to you. I appreciate the call and good luck to you.
Yeah, it seemed like a nice guy.
And can I give one shout out too? Just our guy,
Tesla,
with the Adidas tracksuit and the Go chain. We missed you, brother. Left his best. Take care, guys.
Gotcha.
I appreciate it, folks. There's more of what you've just saw. Where that came from? That's if you hit the subscribe and like button. Thank you. Really, thank you.